Welcome back to my channel. This is the Bobcat Toolcat 5600, and this is probably the most, out of all my equipment, this is the most used piece of equipment on my property. But I try to take really good care of it. But when you're working out here in the rocks and the trees and logs and stuff happens. And this is my second set of lights on the back of this. And what I realized was, if you see how this bed sticks out here, you don't have a lot of protection for this bed. And what this Toolcat really needs is a really good steel bumper. So something is really tough, that I can hit stuff once in a while, and it's not gonna bend the bumper, and it's not gonna break. So today we're gonna do something special for the Toolcat. We're gonna do a bunch more work here first, but we're gonna take this Toolcat up to the shop, and we're gonna see if we can custom make a new bumper with some new lights. Let's get started.
There he goes, it's a working man. He's trying to make a living any way he can. And he'll break his back for $1 or $2. Oh, there ain't no shame in what he do. Oh, work it out.
Okay, right off the bat, I needed to choose some taillights. And I chose these LED taillights. I saw a picture on a flatbed truck, and they angled them. They angled basically 3 on each side, 2 reds and a white on each side. And I really liked the way it looked. So let's get started. Let's design it based around these taillights. Here you can see the drawing that I came up with. I basically came up with a drawing 18 inches wide, 7 inches tall, and I angled all the light cutouts into this square. And basically that's going to be the thickness of my bumper. It's going to be basically 7 inches plus 2 on each side. So it'll be about 11 inches thick with these lights in it. And right here, I just go through the procedure. xToolMetalFab is really easy for you just go through, tell it what your thickness of metal is. It tells you what gas to use, your cutting with fixture. You just go down the whole list, calibrate your machine. It's all pretty easy. And without this xTool machine, I probably wouldn't be able to do this bumper as nice as I'm going to do it today. I have a feeling that this is going to really make a difference on the Bobcat Toolcat. So right here, I've got it in the machine. I just finished calibrating it. I'm basically ready to process this. Now I'm going to hit this framing button, and what it does, it sends the laser around your object to make sure you're not hitting anything or it's in the right spot. You might need to move it, and this will tell you if you need to move it. So I do that, and then I go out to the machine and hit go, and here's how it goes. Now I do like the xToolMetalFab. This is 8 times speed, and it basically just whips out these little brackets for these lights really quick. And it has its quirks. It's not a commercial machine. This is basically, I would say it's a small shop machine. And here I bring in the Toolcat, and we get started making this thing. Okay, it's a great day to fiddle around with this because a rainstorm came in and it's raining really bad outside. So here we got my design, and basically I've got 2 of them, and I should be able to just flip them over, and one's on one side, one's on the other. But let's, before I get too carried away with this, I want to check these, make sure that that I didn't screw something up here. So basically we're going to temporarily fit these in here. And the way they fit in there, it's got a little ridge on it. And you gotta kind of push them down. Oh, there it goes. You gotta kind of push it down so this ridge comes over, all the way over and all the way around. And then you can just pop these in there. Let's see how it works. All right, so that looks good. So it looks like my dimension is going to work fine. So this is going to be the right side, and then the other side's going to obviously go the other way. So that should look pretty good on there. So now what we need to do is we basically need to, I want this thing to really look good. So the next step's going to be, we're going to tear down, get rid of these lights, and get our bumper tubes, which are pretty heavy. I'm a little worried they're too heavy, but I don't know. The Toolcat actually likes weight, so it actually does better traction and stuff if it has, like when I have that water tank in the back, it does really good going up and down hills. But anyway, these bumpers, I'm gonna try to figure. I think I'm gonna have it exactly this narrow. So it's going to be some 2x2 square tubing on each side, probably a couple supports, and I don't think I need to put any hooks or anything on them because I already have hooks down on the bottom, and I've already got a trailer hitch and a plug already there. So this is just going to be out far enough, but we need to also make sure that we avoid, because this is a dump bed, and I don't really use it as a dump bed, but it's really nice to be able to open that up and work on your engine or your hydraulics or whatever's underneath, or even do some cleaning. So that's the first thing. That's the next step. We'll get our tubes cut, and then we'll tear down the existing lights. Maybe cut off any metal that we don't need under there, and then we'll tilt the bed back and make sure that it's not going to interfere with wherever we put this bumper. And then we'll basically cut some, probably some 1/4 inch supports that'll come off, and we'll make it so it's removable. So if we ever want to powder coat it or repaint it or something, it'll be really easy. Anyway, that's our next step. Let's get started. Okay, once I've drawn my 2 support brackets, it's just a matter of throwing them in the xToolMetalFab. I got 1/4 inch steel in there, so I need to change my steel thickness and choose, right here I choose 1/4 inch carbon steel, apply, strip off any coating that it might have on it, and just go down the list. Same nozzle, so here you have the 2mm steel right there, 1/4 inch. Then we're going to use 1mm double layer nozzle, same nozzle. There really isn't that much difference between cutting 2mm and cutting 1/4 inch, except for when you get to the end. So right here, I'm going to calibrate this. Now this is a brand new sheet of metal, 1/4 inch, so I know that I have a clear spot right there. So I can just calibrate it right up here at this spot. And actually I move it down. I already know that I can fit this in. So now I figured out I had an older piece of steel that this whole thing would fit in. So I changed it. And right here you can see I kind of move it down to that spot. And you just verify that your lines fit in there. And this barely fit in this little spot down here, but it's perfect. Then I go ahead and calibrate it. And I did a little view, but the views, you can't see anything in these things. I do want to find out from xTool how to change this to like a white background or something where it's a lot more visible. And everything looked good, so I go through the process of calibrating it. Now right here it shows you that you need to change that to number 2. So it's basically you're changing the height from 3 to 2. And that was really the only difference in between the 8 or the 2mm steel and this 1/4" steel. And you can see most of those holes on the first one dropped right out. And it cut through really good actually. You know, when I first test fit the bumper onto these brackets, it really felt like it was sticking out too far, like a couple inches too far. What was really cool is I was actually able to lay the brackets that I cut out, lay them right into the xToolMetalFab, just draw a line in my software, export the line as an SVG, import the line into xToolMetalFab in xTool Studio, and basically I drew a line on the brackets exactly where I wanted to cut them, and then I was able to position the line that I drew into the xToolMetalFab right onto the line that I drew onto the part, and basically cut that line super easy with that laser. And that's kind of a neat feature, you know, as far as flat metal goes. That worked really well, and I was able to cut a couple inches off really easy, and it just worked out. That was pretty nice. here it is kind of mocked up, and you got the Bobcat logos on the side, the angled lights. I think it's going to look really cool. I like the little detail of the Bobcat end caps, but you can see a before and after picture right there. And right here, I get it all cleaned up with some denatured alcohol and just do a pretty cheapy paint job on it, primer and some gloss black. And basically, yeah, that is gonna be the bumper. Next, we'll after we get this painted, we'll start wiring the new lights and see how it turns out. Here I get all the lights wired. Now basically what I'm gonna have is running lights, brake lights, and backup lights. I'm not gonna have any blinkers. I haven't quite figured out how to get the blinkers working, but so far, you know, I pretty much just drive this on my property, a little bit in the street to go to my other property, but not, you know, mostly it's just around my own property. So we'll get these hooked up and see how it turns out. Okay, that's it for this project. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. Let me know in the comments actually what you think about it. But I really like these LED lights. Now I've got brake lights, running lights. That beeping is these two white backup lights, which I'm going to shut off right now. So anytime you put it in reverse, these backup lights come on, and also that beeping. And then of course, you got your running lights and the brake lights. Now what I didn't hook up, it has blinkers, but it's gonna need a resistor or some kind of a little resistor to get those running. But I don't really care about blinkers that much. I mean, I'm just really driving on my own property right now. And I probably will try to get those hooked up at some point. But yeah, I think it actually came out really good. I can still put my hitch in really perfect. Actually, it just barely slides in there, and then you got your tow plug right there. Yeah, I think it came out really good. Anyway, thank you very much for putting up with this video and watching, and thanks for liking it and subscribing, and I will see you next time. Later.
It's a working man. He's trying to make a living any way he can, and he'll break his back for $1 or $2.